I'm Chris Cox from Oneofus.net, but you know that already. I'm here with the director of John Wick 2, Chad Stahelski, is that correct? I just pronouncing that correctly. And J.J. Perry, the stunt coordinator, one of the stunt coordinators of this film, which, believe me, when you see it, you'll be like, did this thing have like 50 stunt coordinators on it? It would have had to have, right? First off, let me say, this is exactly what action film fans want from an action sequel. It's bigger, it's crazier, and it delivers everything of the type of stuff we were hoping to see more of. That direct, uncut, insane action sequences. Now, my first question to you guys has to do more with the industry on the whole. Most action films, and I'm looking at you, Jason Bourne filmmakers, all their action seems to just seem to be about chop, 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 and not actually showing everything that's going on, not letting you appreciate or get the feeling of a real fight. How much more complicated is it to sell a studio on, we're gonna do it this way?
I think there's certain filmmakers out there that make a choice. Like, if they're gonna go, look, we want really phonetic energy, we're gonna do longer lenses, we're gonna move the camera around and try to hold and go, like, that's a cool choice. That's what you think you're like. Unfortunately, it's become a time saver, which, in answer to your question, it's not harder, it just takes more time, more logistics, and more diligence to do it. Kind of the way we do it, the way they used to do it before, it was shaky cam or tighter lenses and more phonetic camera movement along with certain kind of editing is used now not to accentuate but to hide. You hide the stunt double, you hide the lighting, you hide the set pieces, you hide imperfections in certain kinds of choreography. The cast member may not be trained in how to reload a gun, so you have to cut so they can get the perfect insert shot to get all this to actually tell. Again, some use it to tell story, some use it to hide story. We just made a commitment early on in our careers that we've done so much of the shaky cam ourselves in our day jobs that when we're going to do an action sequence, we like the old Jackie Chan movies from the 80s and 90s. We like the old Kurosawa films. We like the old Sergio Leone films. We like Bullet. We like seeing Steve McQueen. We want to see Gene Hackman. We want to see our actors in the car. And when you work with somebody like Keanu Reeves, who wants to build a certain degree of honesty with his character, meaning, we've all seen it before, and I use this analogy quite a bit. There's always a scene where you got two other characters, usually in suits, in some secret CIA room or a police office, telling you how badass somebody is. They look down his resume. This is what the computer found. He's done this, he's training this, and you don't get to see any of it.
Yeah, I've often
said the Richard Crenna scene from First Blood, which they did pay off in that movie. But
I've often said I could be in an average Hollywood action film
as long as you didn't have to show it, you can be anything you want. When we first conceived the first John Wick, we all got together and said, well, let's not talk about it. Let's just have this guy cry over a puppy. He's going to lose his wife. No one's going to know anything about him until he goes. And that's kind of the method we use on this. Is just, we want you to see Keanu Reeves as a human doing exceptional skills.
Who just so happens to be a guy who's really into martial arts.
Yeah, and we'll get into that in a sec. That's a whole nother conversation. But if you see the actual cast member, in this case Keanu, without edits, without reloading guns, doing things, shooting, changing between three different kinds of weaponry, doing the jiu-jitsu or the judo, coming through, throwing the stunt guys, getting thrown himself, or driving the car, cutting to him actually crashing into another stunt guy, hitting a stunt guy, like, that buys you credibility into the character of John Wick being that good. You don't have to talk about it, you don't have to ask about it. The audience sees Keanu Reeves as John Wick doing what John Wick is supposed to be a badass at. I think there's a certain degree of honesty there that goes, wow, this is really happening. I'm not watching a Hollywood two-step, or, we're not trying to hide anything. You're actually seeing the guy who came to see do it.
And part of the advantage, it seems, the way that you make films comes from your background as stunt coordinator. You've stunt doubled Keanu Reeves yourself in the Matrix films, I believe. And that's kind of how your relationship with him.
That's how we met on the first Matrix, when I auditioned to be a stunt double.
And how the first John Wick came to be about, I presume.
He came back to my partner Dave Leitch and I with the script that he said, look, it's a smaller action movie. I just wondered if you could, put your eye on it. He knew we were looking for a property to direct. We got the script on a Friday. By Saturday, we're like, we'd like to direct it. By Monday, we were pitching ideas to him. But it all comes back to, like, if you want something different, and this is to defend the rest of Hollywood, time and money. One of the first things to get slammed off a budget is prep time. For me, from our second unit careers, because of the action, you have to prep.
Yeah.
You just can't willy-nilly a car chase on the day. Well, you can.
Certainly not this car chase.
It doesn't end up well.
Yeah.
So when you don't have hundreds of millions of dollars and you don't have, massive ensemble cast, you don't have all the visual effects behind you have to be a little bit creative and you have to spend your money right. So we knew that coming up as second unit directors, it's usually the thing that we have to fix. is someone's throwing together an action sequences. Okay, guys, how do we make this better? It's much easier to conceive and execute the first time than it is to piece things together the third, fourth, fifth time.
Yeah.
So, in answer to your question about what does it takes a clear vision of what you want. It makes a commitment to, decision-making process. We are going to do it this way. This is my see. This is the aesthetic. This is the camera style. This is the editing style. And then you get your whole crew on board. Most people think it's just the stunt guys, Keanu, and me. Well, there's about 30 other people in between us.
Yeah.
If the cinematographer doesn't know that we're going to do long takes, so this is the editing style, he may lighten. When you come down the catacombs in John Wick 2, the lights are part of the set. We built it that way, so we could do long takes and not worry about relighting and switching. Our cameramen had to come to all the rehearsals. When you have 80 pounds of metal on your shoulder standing there, they have to be part of the choreography. It's a three-person deal. It's the stunt performers, it's the cameraman, and our hero.
And it seems like one of the ways to make this easier on yourselves, rather than casting, character actors that do a lot of appearances and stuff and the editing around them, it seems like almost all of the, 100 or so people who fight John Wick in this film, maybe 300, are professional stuntmen. Even some of the bigger, more on-camera people.
That helps. And even, a stuntman's not a stuntman's not a stuntman. There are great fight stuntmen. There are not so great fight. There are car guys. It's very diverse. It's not as easy to find super talented or high-end or more creative or professional that perform at that level. Yeah. So again, I'll let JJ talk about the training, but it starts with, you have to find a cast member that is going to give you the time. With Hollywood schedules and everybody's working on different projects, people come to us, we want Matrix action, we want John Wick action, we want this. That's great. Okay, I need about 6 months of your time, and we're going to train. You can't take another job because we're going to have to put you through the training. Because we always say, the best way to fake being good is just to be good.
Just be good, brother.
So when you see Keanu Reeves loading and unloading and chambering around, that's him doing it. He didn't just pick that up and do. He doesn't. It's like a samurai sheathing a sword.
I love that one hand
chamber check. That's no. When we don't just put stuff together on the day. This is a guy that is good at jiu-jitsu, good at tactical 3-gun, good at judo, good at choreography. He's trained with the same stunt guys for the last 3.5 months. So by the time we walk on the set, from the wardrobe person to the lighting guys to the cameraman to the stunt team, everybody knows what we're doing. It's been rehearsed. So when we get on set, the time spent is about being creative, about executing it well. Not, oh my God, what are we going to do? How do we hide the lights?
Right.
But again, I'll let JJ talk about it, but it starts with the guy.
Yeah, no, coming in early, topping John Wick 1 was already it's a tall order. So the idea is to put John Wick 1 in our rearview mirror. And how do we make John Wick 2 better? Well, we have to make Keanu Reeves better. That's the first place we started. So we started a training camp at 8711, which is the action laboratory in LA. And we surrounded him with jiu-jitsu champions, sambo champions, judo champions, and a lot of our teammates, like Higan Machado, one of the most renowned jiu-jitsu instructors in the world, was there training Keanu Reeves. And he trained 5 days a week, 5 hours a day. And 2 of those days during the week, we took him to Simi Valley for 3-gun work, which is pistol, rifle, shotgun, with a 14-time U.S. World 3-gun champion.
I saw some videos of that online.
Exactly. Now he's shooting real bullets at real targets and doing real reloads. And the whole time when I'm loading mags for him, I'm putting dummy rounds in there. So the gun will malfunction, so he has to correct the malfunction in the middle of his set. That going to 3-gun ranges is like an interactive range. You run the course about 5 times, then we change the course, which lends itself very well to choreography, like in the evolution of being able to change on the fly, target acquisition. So we've got him trained up to this level and surrounded him with all these Navy SEAL special forces. We surrounded him, aside from the martial artists, surrounded him with a bunch of killers. So some of that would rub off on him. And I think that the final product you can see, but also there's a big part of this is Keanu Reeves's, how intelligent he is, his ability to retain choreography and perform, and his work ethic. Okay. And then also having a director that knows exactly what he wants. I can't tell you how many times this has happened to me where it's, my job is to help the director facilitate their vision of the action, whether they know what it is or not. I'll go out there and try and help them. It's a much easier job for me and my team to go out there and do it when we have someone like Chad.
Somebody who's done what you've done.
He knows exactly what he wants. It's a very clear direction.
Could be a little rougher too.
All right, so let me talk for a minute about the plot here. First off, I have this theory, this being chapter 2. At first I was like, chapter 2? That's a silly way to name it until you see it and you're like, oh yeah, that's definitely chapter 2 of a series. My theory is they're all actually Greek demigods. on Earth, because the whole thing has this so much bigger, all of that mythology we saw before is so much deeper and better explored, and some of them even have Greek character god names to them. I'm kind of like, yeah, they're going to all turn out to be demigods and gods.
I'm a huge fan of Greek mythology. That's how we redid the first John Wick. We just took an urban setting and made it about a Greek mythological tale.
Yeah.
And we just, when we came down to do the second one, we just said, well, we'll just expand on that mythology. And it's kind of the road we took.
Yeah, and that's appreciated. That's definitely part of the way of getting it bigger, as well as even visually. You're talking about setting up all the shots. That shot in that's very man with the golden gun or lady from Shanghai in the mirrored segment. You're actually showing the choreography from fights in the way that you do, making it so explicit so we really see they're fighting, but using that room around you to get new creative ways of showing said fights.
The environment always offers up very cool targets of opportunity.
If you can't afford to go bigger and better, you better be smarter.
Yeah, and you guys managed to do both, though. So one last thing to say is that when you do Chapter 3, are you and David switching roles?
That's a good question.
Because I know y'all both directed the first one, and this one you directed, he produced. Are you going to produce and he directs?
We'll see. We'll see everyone's schedules. But I think both Dave, myself, JJ, the team, the rest of our crew, we love working with Keanu. We all love working with each other. If the worst thing that happens is we do Chapter 3, I think we'd all really embrace it.
I hope that that's not a maybe for Chapter 3.
No, I think we'll see how the audience reacts. But we'd all love to be part of it then.
Chapter 3. I can say right now, as an audience member, come on, guys, go see John Wick Chapter 2 because you're gonna. Well, for me, so I can see Chapter 3. You're gonna love it. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Solid.
Thanks.
Cool.